In the last 9 months, just one of our larger clients has moved their social media budget, which from 10% used to go to TikTok to now in the vicinity of 22 to 25%. So it's incredibly important, and it's a significant announcement today.
Oh, well, let's talk about that. The government has announced a ban on workplace devices due to what they see as security concerns. Is there any evidence that TikTok could be a threat to business? Any evidence of data harvesting or security issues for businesses?
We advise all our clients to use a wide array of social media platforms, and we look at that from a brand safety, from an end user safety perspective, and so we certainly will continue to advise and haven't seen any evidence of that. As I said, they've brought a lot of protocols, I guess, in terms of how they think about safety for both brands and the end user and the content creators as well that are sitting on those platforms. So we don't see that, but we're very aware that all social media platforms collect data in different ways, and that is an exchange in terms of how comfortable people are to give that data to the platform, and obviously brands being comfortable to put their brand associated to reach audiences on that platform.
So what are the immediate business implications today of this ban?
It's business as usual in many ways. Certainly there'll be the brands that we work with and brands that continue to use TikTok both in Australia and around the world. I think we'll be looking at this with interest overall. We'll continue to advise TikTok as a legitimate channel and until we hear otherwise as well. And I think whether it be the federal government continue to use TikTok as a media channel as well will be, I guess, quite interesting as we move forward. Or if we see that actually TikTok is known as more of a community for creators as well. And so we might actually find an inverse effect where people see it as being more popular as well. It is truly the home of creators, and marketers want to go and talk to people in that environment.
So you don't think that some businesses might now be cautious of the app given the stance on the government and the app itself?
Look, that'll be up to the individual business, but certainly as I look back over the last 9 months, as I used those statistics before, and I've looked at the growth of the platform and expected growth, the businesses that are continue to invest in it have been aware of some of the regulations that have come in from around the world, the US government, the UK government, New Zealand, I think Canada as well, and that hasn't deterred them. It still is seen as the fastest growing platform, but I imagine they continue to look at the privacy that really is the underlying factor behind this decision. And the security that sits on that platform.
You mentioned the other social media platforms that a lot of businesses use to market their brands, to sell their products, etc. What might the flow-on effect of this, I guess you could call it regulation, the banning of TikTok in certain areas of government, be for those other social media platforms?
It could go either way. I think it is quite a unique platform in that the content on TikTok is very bespoke to that platform and requires creators to create on that platform. Whereas some of the other platforms, you might find that the assets are available elsewhere and they get run through that platform. So I imagine we'll see wins. There'll always be winners and there'll be some losers around that as well. So it'll be really fascinating to see what that looks like. But I guess there's always the opportunity for the other platforms to pick up some of the slack from potentially more nervous brands that look at this as a sign that there's going to be further regulation coming into the market.
Have you seen any changes in behaviours for, say, your clients or just those in general who use the platform since the issues around privacy and security have surfaced with TikTok, particularly when you look at those US congressional hearings in the States?
Look, it's definitely prompting more conversation. I would say that the issue of data privacy is the number one issue for brands at the moment. Thinking around where the data's sitting, how to use it. It's obviously very much a priority for the governments here and around the world. As that's flowed on to pulling back investment, absolutely not. We've seen the opposite. We've seen TikTok continues to grow in audiences. While they don't report in Australia, I've heard that they're sort of sitting somewhere between 7 to 10 million users, and the usage rates are higher than any other social media platform. And so with an audience sitting there and brands wanting to talk to audiences in that space, you can only imagine the flow of money continues in that space.
So how will your businesses advise clients on where to put their marketing spend after today's announcement?
Yeah. We continue to work with a number of leading brands across Australia, and we advise across the full spectrum of where to put money, whether it be in any media platform, but certainly as it relates to social media. we won't. It will be business as usual. We'll continue to look at that, and as we continue to monitor the comfort levels around security in that space, and certainly this is one form of regulation which may spawn other forms of regulation. But until we see that, we will continue to recommend that the money goes across the broad range of social media platforms available.
So TikTok is safe for now?
Safe for now.
Justin Graham, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.